When the mind that associates with the you, the person, the me, my body, my name, my existence, my individuality, my disassociation or associations with the world or not the world, when this mind has been annihilated, they call it enlightenment, awakening. This enlightenment, for this, whatever I am, took about a full 8-9 years to subside, to fade away, to transcend itself. And then you have the return of the person, but not the person that was before, you see. Most that knew you before will say you've changed. What is taking place at the end of this departing of enlightenment, or of this opposing worlds? Because what takes place is the ego, the enlightenment, the mind, the spirit, the soul, whatever it is, the consciousness balances itself, is that it realize that it's whole. And if it's whole, there cannot be two sides. There cannot be a center, there cannot be two sides, there cannot be anything except whole. We don't know what whole means. H-O-L-E, whole, dig. W-H-O-L-E, the whole cake, not sliced up into pieces. So there's no reason for inquiring anymore. But the enlightenment, or the being, when it awoke, took the mind as its dog on a lead to show the mind what was awaiting its fate. And the mind, it didn't mind it. It didn't mind it. But before awakening, enlightenment took place, the mind took the being on the lead to show it what it was capable of. And the being, it didn't mind it. It quite liked it. But when the ego become imbalanced, the being has to so each are taking each other on a little journey every day. Yeah, the being saying to the mind, come and I'll show you some deep sleep, I'll show you some meditation, I'll show you some pure and tranquil love, tranquil nothingness. And the mind will say, yeah, okay, I'll come, no problem. And they have a good time. And then the mind says, no, yeah, but let's do something. Let's go into the world. Let's be, happy. Let's exercise on our bikes. Let's do things. Let's try and create some sort of effect on this world. And the being goes along and, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, they get on quite well. And that's the result. The mind and the being, the human and the being, they interact and they get on pretty well. And they realize that when the being showed the mind what its fate was, it wasn't really true. And the mind showing the being what this is and what this mind can have an effect on the life is not really true. The mind and the being, they're just playing games with each other, And that's what we do. As a child, you remember yourself as a child. You used to play games with with yourself. Yeah, you used to speak to yourself, speak to your soldiers, speak to your dolls. You used to go into the room and create a little house with the dolls. You used to go into the attic and play hide and seek with your toys. You just play with yourself. And then we become adults. And then we become what we say mucked up. We become confused. We become prisoners of our own game. And that's what takes place when the ego becomes imbalanced. It becomes a prisoner in its own game. It cannot play with the being anymore. It turns away from the being. It disassociates from the being. And when the being pulls you into that beautiful, enlightened, profound, empty state, it stops playing with the ego anymore. So none of your friends, none of your games become alive. They lose interest. You lose that whole interest. The object is to taste both sides and realize that both sides are okay, but both sides are not true. When they interact, when they reconnect as a child, you don't have to go around sucking your thumb and playing with your toys in the attic. You just accept your being state. You accept when you're not participating in this world. And you accept when you move into the states of anger. Because they're just fluctuating, energetic movements. You move into the state of joy, into the state of sex, into the state of all these states that we have created. The ego has created. Identities and names. Oh yeah, it is a tree. Okay. I know it's not a tree, but you know what? I'll accept the name tree. Everything is life in the being state. Everything is one whole life. Everything is the same. Everything has the same quality. Incredible, beautiful quality. But that's not going to be accepted in the ego world. The true being accepts all beings with a recognition that this one is erring to the side of ego, and it's okay. This one is powerful, and it's okay. This one is a warmonger, and it's okay. And this one is a monk, and it's okay. This one is doing nothing for society, and it's okay. Because you've accepted yourself as whatever you are in this world as okay. You're not brilliant, you're not supersonic, you're not a superhero, you're not a desperate, evil, torturous person. You're simply okay. The life of okay. It's the life of Buddha. Okay doesn't mean you can't laugh one day and disappear into emptiness the next day. Does it mean you can't cry and be angry one day and disappear into emptiness and love and profound beauty the next? You are just okay. And everything is okay. 9 years later, there's a marriage, a reconciliation, a negotiation. And you realize that many people who you thought were ego-driven or being-driven were already enlightened, and you were just falling behind. But of course, there are most that are still erring for the one side. Yeah, the Buddhist monk, every day. And the powerful businessman. Let's do stuff, let's get stuff. Let's be powerful, let's be incredibly present, let's be famous, let's be successful. Stuff. But it's okay. You don't mind them. It's not your job to mind anything. Your mind has now become placid. It is accepted. It has came into the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. And one day, we'll all walk away into the horizon and disappear. And the truth will be over. And the truth will be revealed. But when? No one knows. And that's okay.